Hey nesters, welcome back to the channel Nesting Haven. Today we are heading out to my local Salvation Army to see what they have for Halloween items and any kind of vintage things that I can pick up to resell online in my Etsy shop and eBay or here locally in my antique booth. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what they had today. I've been super disappointed with the selection at my thrift stores for the Halloween items this year. Last year, I feel like I made out like a bandit, and had I gone more, I feel like I would have found a lot more. I didn't go too much last year looking for Halloween. But yeah, this year I just can't seem to find too much. There's lots of costumes, but I'm not really in the market for costumes. Now this front window here is where they like to display the items they think is a little bit more valuable. So I do try to check this out first when I come in to the store. I wasn't really seeing too much of interest. Those wooden canisters were kind of neat, I guess, but I don't remember why I passed on them. Maybe they were a little pricey, which is usually the case for this section up here. I find a lot of beautiful, I guess they're called music boxes, even if they aren't a box per se. But I don't seem to sell them very well, so I kind of stopped picking those up. I don't know why they're not great sellers, because there are a lot of cutesy ones out there, but I suppose I wouldn't really use it either, so maybe that's why. This looked like an interesting bar piece here. It was missing a coaster, however, and I felt like with only 3 coasters, it probably would have been a hard sell. Now on the top shelf here, you guys will notice this cat planter, and every time it gets me, and I always try to look for the price, and then there's a not for sale sign on it. I want that planter so bad. But for some reason, they just want to have a plant in their thrift store, and they're not selling that, so I'm sure someone donated it at some point. I am currently on the hunt for vintage Thanksgiving items in particular, but Thanksgiving items to resell. And I'm actually hosting a collaboration here coming up. If you guys missed that, it is in my community tab, so go check that out if you guys are YouTubers and want to participate. I really liked this Halloween bucket. I thought this was really cool. I love the designs to it and the imagery on it. It definitely appeared to be vintage. Now these coffee mugs here are very beautiful, but they do not sell for that well. They're asking $2 a piece for them. These recently sold on eBay for a set of 5 for less than $13, so with only having 3, I definitely could not pick those up. They are Termacrisa, and they are like a Mexican type of a milk glass mug. So one thing I love about this Salvation Army thrift store is they always have their shelves completely stocked. It is always filled to the brim. It is kind of a downside as well because it just takes me so long to sift through everything, and I really don't like spending that much time in a store. I like to be able to easily find things and just kind of skim over the shelves and be in and out as quickly as possible. I'm a busy mama, so I did find this cute owl napkin holder here, and I've been finding owls like crazy lately, as you guys know. Now, they always keep their salt and pepper shakers up here in this area. I usually do not pick up salt and pepper shakers. I don't think they're a very high selling item. If I find something unique, sometimes I will go ahead and grab them, but more often than not, I just don't think it's worth it. Now, I was tempted with these ones because they had the owls on them, but they were missing the plugs, and I think they had some chipping on them as well. This is definitely the easiest part of the store to look through. They have the very nice narrow shelves that you can quickly see everything that might grab your attention, and you can move right along. So sometimes I find some good items in here, sometimes I don't. I did kind of think these hand-painted rabbits were kind of cute. I like the cartooniness of them. And yeah, let's see what else they have down here. Not much, apparently. I did find this set of planters. They're a matching set. One is a little bit larger than the other, and I believe there are dandelions on them. They are Japan, which was kind of interesting, so they're probably from around the 70s, I would guess. And I thought those were really nice. I like the looks to them. Something I'm noticing now, I'm not sure if I noticed then, is that mid-century wine decanter right there. Do you see that? That is probably from the 1950s, and I completely missed it. I'm pretty sure I never saw it. I was just too busy filming and trying to find stuff that wasn't that, I guess. I did see this little Mickey Mouse pencil holder down here. It is a Disney product. And Disney stuff is just one of those things that sells fairly well. And this is a vintage, probably 1970s recipe box with the fall leaves on it. I thought that was kind of nice. I have a little bit of a collection of those syndicate recipe boxes going on, so that was kind of cool to see. I did kind of like this honey pot here. It had a lot of good detailing on it. It did have some chipping, however, so I opted to leave that behind. I thought these little angels here were quite cute, and they have the votive candle holder in the front, so I thought that would be really nice for Christmas season. There's a lot of people that like to decorate with angels, and it's just kind of cutesy and would go with a lot of different decor. I actually won a little pair of these wooden shoes in 8th grade when I was the winner of the Oregon Trail. You guys remember that computer game? I just did better than everyone in the class, I guess, and the computer teacher at the time had just gone on a trip, and that was one of the souvenirs he had grabbed, and that's what my reward was for winning Oregon Trail, so yeah, that's what that reminded me of. I really found this vase quite beautiful. There was a huge chip on the bottom, however. If it wasn't for that, I definitely would have picked that up. That was very pretty. I do like the prices of Salvation Army's books here. Most are under 99 cents, which is a great deal. And I don't often get a chance to look through them, but I spied these little golden books that was sitting out on the edge. So of course that piqued my interest, and they all looked very old. So I went ahead and glanced through them. We have quite a selection. The Dalmatian one is probably a bit newer. But yeah, that Mickey one looks quite old, it's quite beat up, and there's a Woody Woodpecker one as well, which is fun to see. I always love Woody Woodpecker. They had another pile sitting on the edge that I moved over here so I could go through them a little bit easier. And again, a lot of these look to be probably from the 60s or 70s to me. A lot of cool ones, a couple duplicates there. thought this lace decor was very beautiful. I think lace just has some delicacy about it. It's very pretty. And I'm always drawn to the Made in England tins, the biscuit tins, and this is very similar to that. It isn't what I collect personally, but it is still very beautiful, and there's so many beautiful tins out there. There's something I'm always drawn to for sure. I found this little cat one stacked on books, and it was in this nice cylinder. So a very unusual shape. I don't come across tins in that shape too often, and a very cool design at that. So this is something I was considering. I could tell it was glass bake right away because just of the opaqueness of the milk glass, it just has this certain look to it. This is in a pinwheel kind of design, and it's very unusual. I haven't seen that pattern out and about before, so that was intriguing for sure. Now, I'm always drawn to enamelware, but I usually don't pick it up. This one I was intrigued by. I really loved the design to it, and I wanted to investigate it a little bit further. The price was $4, I believe, and I was surprised when I opened it up. I could feel how heavy it was that something was inside, and it had this other section which I'm guessing you could put eggs in, so it's kind of like a double pan. You could cook something in the underneath and then maybe make eggs on the top. I'm not quite sure how it works, so I didn't really want to mess with it. Their dishes and bakeware is definitely a lot harder to sift through. They really have to jam pack it in there, and I don't often dig because it is glass, and usually I just have the one hand, so if I can't spy it with my eye, then I usually don't bother. This I thought was super pretty. It's a Royal Danube snack tray, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's interesting that the little handle is so small. Normally you would have a larger handle for such a large piece, I would think, but I guess it gets the job done. So many dishes. I'm really trying to get away from the dishware because I have quite a bit still in my pile that I need to get listed. I believe these are teacup holders, and you could set your tea bag off to the side when we're done steeping. At least I think that's what they were. They're kind of neat, but clear glass just doesn't seem to sell very often, so I tend to try to stick to some kind of a pattern or a color. You can make a kitchen caddy out of just about anything, so it was interesting that there was one here that actually said kitchen caddy on it. It was kind of cute. There's lots of people that are into labeling, and it just, you have all the Ray Dunn people that like to have the items that says what the item is. I don't really get it, but yeah, I thought it was definitely cute. Every time I see this Japanese pottery, I rarely can pass it up if it's in good condition. I just think it's really nice. I always love that it has that floral on it as well, and that typical speckled pottery that Japanese pottery usually has. I always have good luck at this particular thrift store finding vintage glasses. Never really complete sets, but singles. And that was a really cool Canadian Niagara Falls glass. And then I found this one here, which is Hazel Atlas, and it's an Oliver Twist glass. There's a whole series on these, but yeah, I love the frosted Hazel Atlas glasses, and yeah, just so fun. This is a really cool Pyrex mug. Unfortunately, it did have some staining on two sides, and I wasn't quite sure if that would come out. So I did try my best to sift through these coffee mugs, but as you can see, they were stacked quite difficult, so it was a little hard to be able to really get in there and see without fear of breaking things. But I was trying my best, and I was interested in these two Japanese glasses or coffee mugs in the front here, and I was trying to find a spot to put that mug so I could take a better look at them. But yeah, they seem pretty nice, and definitely the style I like. Possibly Otagiri, I'm not quite sure. They are not labeled. Do you see that construction mug there with the hammer handle? I thought that was so fun. I love it when I see unique handles on the coffee mugs. It's very, very fun. That's what really makes, drinking coffee at home a little bit better than having to, maybe just get that quick treat out. I've always wanted to try one of these coffee mugs that has the little section to put your tea bag in, but I've yet to find one that is not damaged, so I'm still on the lookout for that. I spied a Halloween mug. I was surprised. I hardly ever see them. I think I've only found one other one this year so far, and it seemed to be in pretty good shape. It was kind of cute, definitely not too vintage, probably from the early 2000s, but definitely still fun. It's always disappointing when I see a really cool mug and then I turn it completely around, it has someone's name on it. It's such a hard sell. Diane, I actually know a couple Dianes, and it's not that unpopular of a name, so I probably could have, made it do, but it was a pretty specific theme on the mug as well, so a little bit tricky. I have never heard of an egret bird before. That kind of looks like a heron to me, but I guess that's the name of it. And I thought this was kind of fun. It was a vintage Thanksgiving decor piece, I believe. They're kind of that plasticky, made to look like wood pieces from the 70s. So those were kind of interesting. At this thrift store, I do tend to find some vintage toys here. I'm not sure why this is the store that they end up at, but I do find quite a few here often. But I like to sift through a lot of this type of things, like the flashcards and whatnot, because I am going to be homeschooling my two boys. They are just toddlers right now, but I do enjoy trying to find inexpensive things to help them learn their basic stuff at this point in their toddlerhood, as well as anything I can pick up for future reference. As you can see, there's quite a few items to look through at this thrift store. So this is going to be part 1 of 2 videos. So make sure you are subscribed to see part 2 tomorrow of this thrift along with me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like on your way out if you enjoyed this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!